One of the things that we all get frustrated over is repeating the same mistakes over and over. Whenever we step on the same rake, we promise ourselves that this is the last time and we'll never do it again. The next morning you wake up as if nothing wrong has happened, and in a few days, weeks, if not hours, you find yourself going down that road again. That doesn't happen by chance. There is a reasonable explanation behind it, since it happens to every other person. In fact, we are making the same mistakes that we have made for thousands of years, and for some weird reason, we never learn. So in this video, we are going to do something revolutionary and try to understand that mysterious reason, hopefully. The problem is that we like to think of ourselves as intelligent, logical creatures. But unfortunately we aren't, because our emotions are dominant when it comes to making decisions. When you are resentful towards your spouse, for example, you remember everything she did to offend you or disappoint you since the day you know each other. On the opposite side, you will only recall nice things about her when you feel loved. Remember the times when you were depressed? You tend to think of just sad things. When you're excited and happy, you think entirely of the good moments, because our emotions are much more powerful than we think. So if you have promised yourself not to use that credit card again, you might very much do it again to indulge yourself if you are feeling sad or depressed. On the other hand, you might overeat candies if you're under stress. Rationally, you should not have ate that since you are already overweighted. However, your emotions lead you to take an absolutely different action. The key here is obvious. You should never let your emotions to get in the way of your logic. It's by all means isn't easy, especially when you're angry or frustrated. But believe it or not, with some practice, it's entirely possible to keep your feelings under control. However, we also repeat the same mistakes because we have done them so many times so that they became part of our identity, and getting rid of them isn't easy. Don't be surprised when you promise yourself not to smoke again, but then you end up having that cigar. By our nature, we love routines because thinking requires a lot of energy. So your brain automates a lot of your daily activities, such as every time you wake up, you directly go and brush your teeth. So you grab that cigarette not only because your emotions are pushing you, but also because your brain sends a trigger to smoke every time you get out of the house. And getting rid of bad habits or transforming them into good habits, it's something we have discussed in previous videos, which links I will leave in the description. Of course, you shouldn't focus too much on the past mistakes because whatever happened has already happened and there is no way you can change it. However, as a wise man once said, don't fall into the same trap twice. So it's important to look back and learn from your mistakes, but never get obsessed about them. But instead, do yourself a favor and learn something new that will outshine your mistakes, such as this course that will teach you how to turn your passion into a sustainable business. I have partnered with Skillshare and created this course for you, and guess what? Not only that this course is practical and helpful, but rather it's also completely animated like this video. I don't want you to spend your entire life doing one thing and then figuring out that you could have been much more successful if you had followed your passion back then when you were younger. The first 200 people who will use the link in the description will get the course for free. So follow your passion, keep making money, and never repeat the same mistakes over and over. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.